Hey guys, this is Matt with BleepinJeep.com, and today I'm going to show you how to install an ACOS coil spacer. ACOS means adjustable coil over spacer, and this is really cool because instead of just a block spacer that's permanent, you can put this in there and change the height at any time that you wish and get any kind of lift that you want. But first, check out my website, BleepinJeep.com. It's got all the best off-road videos on YouTube, none of the boring stuff, and don't forget to subscribe. On the website you can find lots of cool videos, you can find our t-shirts, and check out our Facebook page. Alright, let's get started. Alright, so the first thing you want to do is jack up the front of the Jeep pretty much as high as you can get it. Alright, now put some jack stands under the frame and then drop it down. What you want is for your axle to be hanging off the ground like so. Alright, so next remove your wheel, of course, and then we're just going to move this shock to get it out of the way. And when you remove the shock, it'll also allow your axle to droop, because in most cases your shock is going to be your limiting factor on a stock setup. Now we've got another limiting factor here, which is the sway bar, and we'll go ahead and remove that next. If you find that there's too much tension on the sway bar or the shock to get it loose, you might have to raise your axle back up. Probably be a better idea to take these off while it was on the ground, but alright, now I'll just bend this down if I can. I'm just doing that to get access to this spring, because we're going to have to put a compressor on here to be able to drop it out. Alright, so the next thing you'll need is this spring compressor, and I got this at AutoZone. Basically you can rent these for free. You just buy them and then you bring them back when you're done. And the part number on this one is 27036, and you don't have to get this exact one, but this one's pretty nice. And the way it works is you just put it on your spring like this. You pull these clips back, put it on the spring, and then push the clip into place. You want to get it out as far as you can here. And then on the second one, you want to try to have it 180 degrees opposite of the other one. Sometimes that's not possible. And what you want to keep in mind is you're going to need to get a socket or something on here, so you want to make sure that you can have access to it with your impact wrench. Otherwise it's going to be a long process of turning a little wrench on there. So let me crank this one down a little bit. Alright, that one's tight. Now this one's a little more difficult. I think I can grab onto it right there. Just have to make sure that it stays in place. Alright, so now they're both on there. They're pretty tight. What you're going to do is just work your way back and forth. Pull this spring down until you can get it free out of here. Also, make sure your axle is down far enough to get that thing out. You can take these springs out without one of these spring compressors, but it's a lot more involved, and you pretty much have to take off your lower control arm and a bunch of the steering components and stuff and drop your whole axle down. I think this will be a little quicker and a lot easier. Alright, the spring's compressing pretty good, but one thing I forgot to mention is this little spring retainer on the back here. You're going to want to take that off. And all it does basically is just hold the spring in place whenever you're fully flexed to keep it from popping out of there. Okay, I've got it compressed quite a ways. I couldn't really get these where I wanted them 180 degrees apart because of the bracketry down here. but I think I might be able to pull it off. Make sure to wear your safety glasses, as this thing is just a bomb ready to go off. But I'm going to take these off. And there it is. Alright, now that I've got that spring out of there, I'm going to install this thing. And there's pretty good directions that come with it. The first thing that you're going to do is remove this bump stop. Now there's several different types. One is welded on right here, and in which case you'll have to cut it off and then tap the hole. And in another case you'll have to pull this rubber out and unscrew the bolt that's in there. And in our case it's pretty simple. The bolt is actually welded onto this piece, so all I need to do is take a pipe wrench and unscrew this. Alright, now all I need to do is get this rubber stopper off of here. And to do that I'll just use a screwdriver and kind of pry it free. Alright, now the next thing you want to do is make sure that this top piece is flat, and as you can see there's a little bit of a weld coming over the top here. When you go to put this piece on, that'll interfere, so you want to take a grinder and just smooth those welds out. Alright, the next thing is just take this spacer and you'll want to screw this out until this piece right here is flush on the inside of that piece there. Now you're just going to put it up flush here and then take the bump stop on the bottom and thread it into that hole there. They provide you with this screw that's just the right size already. Now you don't want to tighten this yet, you're just going to get it up there. Now what I'm going to do is just make sure that this is still free. You can see that it's just barely making contact there. Now I'm going to unscrew this screw just a few times, drop this down a little bit. I'm going to turn this one turn up higher, and now screw this screw back in place. And that should leave this contact ring making contact up at the top here. And now I'm just going to tighten this until it starts, this rubber starts to bulge just a little bit. There we go, you don't want to tighten that too much. Alright, that's pretty much it. Now I can just use this ring to adjust my ride height. And to get your ride height over stock, what you're going to do is measure from here to the bottom of this black piece and then subtract 3/4 inches. So let's say the bottom of this black piece was at 4 inches, you subtract 3/4 inches, and your lift would be 3¼ inches. So you can use that to adjust any kind of lift that you want. Now the lift that you can do minimum is 1½ inches if you take this all the way up to the top, and the maximum lift you can do is 3¾ inches if you come all the way down to the bottom. But I just don't suggest doing the full amount of lift. I'd like to have it somewhere in the middle. That way you're not all the way at the edge of this bump stop. That seems like it'd be pretty weak. And also you can adjust up and down to suit your needs, whether you want to go a little bit higher or a little bit lower. Alright, so for me, I'm looking to get about 3½ inches of overall lift. I know that the ZJ spring I have is pretty shot, and it's looking about 1/2 inch of lift. And so I'm going to set this to 3 inches here. The ZJ spring will be another 1/2 inch, and that'll be 3½ inches of lift. Alright, once you get that set where you want it to be, you just take an Allen head wrench here, and you're going to tighten it down. Alright, now we can install the spring again. Alright, I'll just take that spring, orient it back in the right direction, make sure that the top's on top, and I'll see if I can slide it in there. Looks like I'm going to need just a little bit of a pry bar. There you go. Alright, so I've got the spring back in there. The clips aren't where I need them to be, so it's going to be a little bit more difficult trying to get this in place. Also, the bottom of the spring isn't quite into place yet, and I can't even pivot it over there because of these clips. But hopefully I can use the impact wrench on this side, and hopefully I can use the ratchet wrench on this side over here to get that off, and we'll see how it goes. Well, that worked out pretty good. Now what I'll do is I'll just take my pipe wrench, put that on here, and try to pivot the spring into place where it needs to go. Alright, then the next thing to do is reattach this spring clip back here that holds the spring in place. Then you'll want to put a jack under, jack up the axle a couple times, reattach your spring, your shock absorber here, and then reattach your sway bar over here. Alright guys, thanks for watching, I appreciate it. If you have any comments, please leave those below. Don't forget to subscribe below as well, and check out the website, BleepinJeep.com. There you'll find lots of cool videos, and we've got t-shirts for you as well, and you can check out the Facebook page. Alright, I appreciate it. We'll see you next time.